Welcome, gentle listener. I am Baldermort, your faithful servant, and I wish to introduce you to the forces and factions of the Warhammer 40k universe, the grim darkness of the far future. Alas, I have not been able to write a compelling story for this formation for today, but have no fear. I intend to do a full-on pitch battle for our delectation in the very near future, and it will feature the Vanguard forces, I can assure you. I would ask your patience in this matter until I have had my week off, and have the energy and the luster required for what I hope will be a magnificent little audio drama come video. Wish me luck, as it will take quite some patience to get it all working well, but it is high time we tried that, I felt, so it is on the cards. Just give me your patience, brothers and sisters. I am on a week break from today, and have been trying to gain little entries as morsels for you before I return and get back on track. There will be entries in the week, but they may not be as sumptuous as usual. Alas, it seems I really did need this wee sojourn to recharge my narrative batteries. But it is Friday, and I did not wish to leave the table bare. So here is an introduction to the Vanguard force and its constituent units. Primaris all, so it is necessary for us to have at least a passing knowledge for the videos to come, and to support the new units and lore that will be generated by the imminent introduction of the 9th edition, which I literally cannot wait for, but will actually be away from home for a week while it lands. Alas, timing can be a trial sometimes. So just know I am utterly jealous of everyone opening their boxes and playing their first games, but something to look forward to upon my return. So, let us lean on existing wisdom for this entry, for we will need to see how it changes, if it does, over the next month or two as the new edition flourishes. And as usual, here goes. To quote, Vanguard Forces. Vanguard Space Marines are reconnaissance and infiltration experts equipped to operate alone in enemy territory for extended periods of time, and intensively trained in shadow warfare tactics and sabotage techniques. Vanguard strike forces are tasked with achieving full spectrum superiority over the foe. Every facet of the opposition's war machine must be dismantled, from supply routes and infrastructure to communications and logistics. Morale must be utterly sapped through non-stop harassment by terror troops and assassination of key individuals. The ultimate goal of this relentless campaign is to leave the foe crippled and helpless before the advance of the main Space Marine battle line. Every newly recruited and created Primaris Space Marine spends time in the 10th Company learning the full range of Vanguard combat techniques. From the mobile fire support duties of the Suppressors and the expert sniper combat of the Eliminators, to the terror raids of the Reivers and the point-blank gunfire of the Incursors. The Primaris Battle Brothers keep their Vanguard skills honed even after they move on to other companies, meaning that at a moment's notice they can don any of the various types of Mark 10 Phobos armor and go to battle as Vanguard Space Marines. Even veterans of the First Company can swiftly reprise such duties, combining the benefits of their vast wealth of combat experience with the specialized and wholly lethal infiltration and sabotage tools of the Vanguard. When a full-sized Vanguard force deploys into battle, they often do so with armored support from Invictor tactical Warsuits and Impulsor transports, not to mention the leadership of captains, librarians, and the like, also armed and armored for stealth warfare. An elite, fast-moving, silent strike force of this sort can secure victories through ambush, sabotage and assassination that a far larger army could never achieve through brute force alone. Reiver squads. Reivers are rapid insertion terror troops without compare, each one outfitted in Mark 10 Phobos armor. The suit's lighter weight ceramite and streamlined design allow for great mobility, and its servo motors are engineered to be completely silent. Above all else, Reiver squads depend on stealth and secrecy to accomplish their missions. To aid them in their role, some Reiver squads are equipped with grav chutes, allowing them to be airdropped to the battlefield from fast-moving transport craft. Using directional fins, the Reiver squad glides to their destination from high altitudes, hugging terrain contours while flying dangerously low. Without the fiery contrails of jump-pack troops or the blinding energies of teleportation, they can descend unnoticed behind enemy lines. Reivers can also use grapnel launchers to scale vast heights and cross from building to building. Whatever their method, Reivers are unparalleled in their ability to be in exactly the right place at exactly the right time, ready to burst forth and attack their foe when they least expect it. There is nothing that can prepare an enemy for the savage suddenness of an assault by Reivers, who launch themselves into battle amidst a cacophony of explosions from expertly thrown shock grenades. The time for silence is over, replaced by an offensive barrage of sound, wave-amplified blasts of specifically modified bolt carbines, the keening of slicing combat knives, and the augmented guttural roars of the warriors themselves. Moving quickly, shooting and slashing at superhuman speeds, the Reiver squad annihilate their targets. Such an unprecedented attack unnerves those nearby, for the strike is enough to set even well-trained soldiers on the back foot. Against less disciplined troops, the Reiver squad is more devastating still. The ferocious destruction of one enemy group can set off a chain reaction of panic that ripples down the line as the roaring Reivers move to bring down their next target. Incursor squads. Incursor squads fulfill an aggressive, close-quarters gunfight role within Adeptus Astartes forces. Their missions typically see them storming defended positions, sweeping the flanks of spearhead advances, or rapidly knocking out key enemy assets such as power generatorums and communication centers. Key to this role are the paired wargear technologies of their Oculus bolt carbines and the Divinator-class auspexes that feed directly into their highly advanced transpectral combat visors. This remarkable combination of visual and multispectral observation and analysis technologies gathers every scrap of data from the wearer's surroundings. It employs a slave machine spirit to collate the findings at 1,000 times the speed of human thought, and feed the resultant data into the Incursor's field of vision. Armed with this tightly controlled flood of intelligence, these warriors fight in an almost precognitive fashion. Incursors can see their foes through solid walls, thick smoke and absolute darkness. They can detect the high-altitude telltales of incoming drop troops, the pre-materialization signatures of teleporting foes, and the tectonic tremors that indicate enemies about to emerge from tunnels, ducts, and the like. They can even build predictive models of their opponent's fighting pattern in real time, allowing them to foreshadow their foes' attacks with killing shots fired before the enemy even moves into their gun sights. Coupled with potent close-quarters firepower, specialist training in vicious knife-fighting techniques, and heavy-duty haywire mines to knock out enemy armor, these warriors are a truly potent asset. Whether fighting through the corridors of an enemy fortress or engaging in brutal pitched firefights on the battlefield, few foes can withstand the Incursor's assault. Eliminator squads. Eliminator squads belong to the Vanguard and utilize a particularly stripped-down version of a Mark X Phobos pattern armor. This allows them to operate with maximum discretion as they stalk their prey. Dedicated marksmen, these fire support weapons haunt the shadows of the battlefield, seeking out targets of opportunity and bringing them down with pinpoint volleys of bolt rounds. Their primary armament is the Mark III Shrike pattern bolt snipe rifle. The optical sights of these weapons can be tailored to any situation, from thermoscopic vision to precision Auspex scans that can penetrate several feet through solid matter. Once marked, there is nowhere for an Eliminator's prey to hide, and no amount of protective armor that can stop the killing shot. Each member of an Eliminator squad carries spare magazines filled with special issue ammunition, tailored for every tactical eventuality and variety of target. Hyperfrag rounds detonate in a shower of shrapnel, sending out a cloud of lacerating shards that devastates closely packed infantry. Executioner rounds, by comparison, are sophisticated self-guiding missiles slaved to a miniaturized cogitator that can seek their target behind cover, even changing direction mid-flight with tiny bursts of ballistic propellant. Mortis bolts, however, spew self-replicating mutagenic toxins into the flesh of the target, causing the rapid and complete collapse of all vital biological systems, while making for a horrifying spectacle into the bargain. When fighting amongst Vanguard forces, Eliminator squads are expected to fill a wide variety of roles as the situation demands, swifting quickly from knocking out artillery crews and enemy communication specialists, to mowing down massed foes moving to reinforce the battle line, to picking off the foe's own elite marksmen in vicious sniper duels. When serving as 9th Company assets attached to a more traditional strike force, they instead inhabit the specialized niche of silent assassins. An Eliminator squad may be tasked with the death of a specific enemy leader, threading like the spectre of death through the mayhem of battle to line up their perfect kill shots. Alternatively, their pinpoint fire may be put to use covering spearhead assaults or swiftly cutting their legs from under sudden enemy counterattacks. Suppressor squads. Suppressors specialize in rapid response to heavily armored enemy threats. They go to battle clad in Omnis pattern armor, which is created by blending elements of the heavier Gravis pattern and the lighter Phobos pattern over the Mark 10 armor exoskeleton. The result is a comparatively lightweight but extremely durable suit of power armor that can easily tolerate the extreme stress of grav drops, jump insertion operations, and the thunderous recoil of portable heavy weaponry. This as well as the role of the suppressors requires all three of these things. Suppressor squads enter battle either by dropping directly into the action on the whispering veins of their grav shoots, or else in long, bounding leaps with their jump packs roaring. In either case, their duty is to rapidly and aggressively occupy dominant fire positions, and then watch for developing threats to the Space Marines' advance. As soon as a target is sighted, the suppressors engage their shock-absorbing servo plates and let fly with the accelerator autocannons. Though lightweight enough to be borne across the battlefield in power leaps and even fired mid-jump by more experienced suppressors, these potent weapons hammer foot-long armored-piercing shells into the enemy at a ferocious rate. Infantry are forced to dive for cover, their advance grinding to a halt lest they be blasted limb from limb. Even armoured fighting vehicles are swiftly wrecked as this concentrated hail of shots blows out motive systems, fills crew compartments with lethal spell and touches off fuel and ammunition in catastrophic detonations. By the time the bodies and wreckage hit the ground, the suppressors are already gone, leaping away on blanket rocket trails to take up their next firing position and slaughter the foe anew. Invictor Tactical Warsuits. The Invictor Tactical Warsuit is a stripped-back variant of the Redemptor Dreadnought frame. Instead of a revenant hero in the sarcophagus, this combat walker is piloted by a live Primaris Space Marine. The Invictor's integrated systems plugged into his Phobos armor inloads, its machine spirit joined in binary choral harmony with his auto-sensors. Invictor pilots are chosen from those warriors who display an aptitude for swift, independent thought and a protective stance towards their battle brothers. These qualities are essential, for while an Invictor pilot has no additional strategic authority, they are permitted a great deal of tactical autonomy to apply the might of their warsuit wherever it will serve their strike force best. Afforded strength, resilience and firepower far in excess of even that gifted to a Space Marine, most Invictor pilots seek to support and defend their comrades against particularly large and deadly threats, to spearhead assaults against heavily defended positions, or form a bulwark against enemy forces that would otherwise break through the Adeptus Astartes lines. Invictor tactical warsuits are deployed in every capacity, from armoured escort duties to close-range siege breaking and urban monster hunts. Still, the most iconic role for these walkers is as armoured support for Vanguard Space Marines. Their reactors and servos are rigged to run with a minimum of sound, and their weapon loadouts allow them to unleash punishing firepower from either a twinned iron hail autocannon or a compact incendium cannon whose pyrotechnic blasts reduce swathes of enemies to blazing corpses in a heartbeat. While the enemy remains at range, each Invictor grips it in its articulated servo fist, a modified heavy bolter that can be employed as an oversized sidearm. As the foe draw close, the pilot maglocks this weapon to his machine's hip, freeing his servo fist to punch, crush and bludgeon even the largest opponents into red ruin. This combination of mid to close range firepower, armed resilience and the selfless mindset of the warrior's pilot combine to provide exceptional support for Vanguard forces, far from aid and often sorely outnumbered, The Vanguard warriors have good cause to welcome the hulking silhouette of the Invictor tactical warsuit fighting at their side. End quote. Or quotes, it would seem. Now, thank you for your forbearance and patience in this rather scant entry today, but I hope that the old axiom, all good things come to he who waits, is realized by your faithful servant in the very near future. Now, no matter what you do today, do try to make some time for fun. Toodaloo.